Hello, I'm Miss Fleetwood and I'm a violin and viola and cello teacher with Warwickshire Music. And this is a virtual assembly. Normally this time of year we would go into schools to introduce our instruments to people, to students, to see if they would like to start learning in September, but as we're not allowed in schools and we can't come and see you, I thought we would make videos for you to see all the different instruments that you can learn with us when you do go back to school. So some of you will already be learning these instruments with either me or one of the other violin teachers with the Warwickshire Music Service. But I just wanted to introduce you to some of the stringed instruments, the bowed string instruments families today. And this is the first one. This is my violin. She's lovely, isn't she? So the idea behind a string instrument, a bow string instrument, is that the note you get depends on the length, the tightness and the thickness of the string. So if I start playing on my lowest, thickest string, my G string, you get a nice G note, a nice low note. Then the next string along is D, and that's thinner, it's the same length, but it's a thinner string. And then A, which is my third string, is thinner still. Let's tune it up a little bit. And then my top string, which is the thinnest string, is my E string. And it works by stroking the strings with my bow. And the bow has got horsehair on it. So if I undo it, you don't do one of them, you don't do this. There, can you see? It's a horse's tail. And then I do it back up again. And the idea is you stroke the strings with the hair of your bow. I tighten it up to make it tighter. There. And then I can make my string shorter by putting my fingers down on the fingerboard. So if I put my first finger down on my D string, there, watch. I'm making the string shorter, so I get a higher note. On the A string and on the E string, this will go really high now. And I can make it loud, or I can make it quiet. So that's my violin. The violin's got a big sibling called a viola. Can you see? It's the same idea, it's just bigger. So is it going to make a higher note or a lower note, do you think? It's bigger and the strings are longer and thicker. Yes, it's going to make a lower note. I'll play you my viola in a minute. I just wanted to play for you. This is a grade 2 piece. It's called Minuet and it's by a man called Henry Purcell. I've got all my technology set up here. There we go. There's some clicks at the beginning to help me know when to come in. By Henry Purcell. Just do that so it doesn't go on to the next one. But not only do we play classical music on our violins, we can play folk music. That's an Irish tune called Shibag Shimor. And not only can we play folk music on our violins and classical music, but we can play electric music, electric violins. And here is my electric violin, which I've plugged in ready for you. Can you see? It's a little bit smaller and it's the same idea. I'm going to make that string a bit tighter to bring the note up a little bit. So it's not plugged in at the moment. Yeah, but you can see at the back there is an electric, there's a speaker cable that comes out of the back there, and it goes into my box of tricks, and I'm going to turn it on now. Wait till you hear this. Ready? Here is something by a band called Led Zeppelin. It's called Kashmir. And I can turn things off and on. So here it is without the echo. It's just got lots, it's just very loud. And I can turn it really, really loud. So that's my electric violin. Turn it off. Now the next instrument, like I've just shown you, is the viola, and this is a bigger version of the violin. So it's going to make a lower note. And it's bigger and it's heavier. On the viola is a C string, this string here, and then you've got the G and the D, and the A. So that's the viola. You play it exactly the same way as a violin, it's just bigger. Then the next instrument, the last instrument that I'm going to show you today from the bowed string instrument family, is one that you are always allowed to sit down to play, and it's the third member, and it's called a cello, and it's here. And you see the difference between a cello and a viola and a violin, apart from the obvious, which is it's much, much bigger, is there's a spike here that goes into the ground to stop it sliding. And you don't have a chin rest here, because obviously you can't put it underneath your chin. And it's bigger, so is it going to be higher or lower? It's going to be lower. And it's got the strings, the same strings as a viola. So it's a C string, and then a G string, and then a D string, and then an A string. And the same idea, you put your fingers down on the strings, which is very low, isn't it? Yeah? So this is a cello. Now this is a very special cello because not only is it a normal cello, but I can get this out. It is also an electric cello because I can plug it in the back here. So I plug that in there and that goes to my amplifier. So I'm going to turn it back on again. So there it is without. And here it is with. So these are the bowed string instruments, apart from the double bass. The double bass is the biggest one, but I don't have one here at my house. So the biggest one is the double bass, and you stand up to play that, and it's the same idea again. You've got strings, and you make them shorter by putting your fingers down. So if you would like to learn the violin, the viola, the cello, or the double bass with Warwickshire Music, let your school know. In September we'll be hopefully doing some lessons in school, but if not, we will also be doing lessons online, which we've been doing this term, and people have been really enjoying them. So please talk to your school if you would like to learn an instrument in the next term when you go back to school. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching. Have a safe and happy summer, and we'll see you when we see you back in schools. Take care.